Kirby is another really popular Nintendo franchise that has been created all the way back in 1992 with a bunch of his other, random little friends along the way, such as King Dedede, which is one of his friends slash main rivals. Meta Knight, another one of his best companions. And also Bandana Waddle Dee. So, even last year being a very big year for him since he got his very first ever 3D platforming game, I decided to go and just do a little bit of a video talking about why I think he's one of the most interesting, not just characters, but like the more interesting franchises in my opinion. So in here, we're going to be talking about why I think Kirby is the most interesting franchise in my opinion. This is the Jose Gagnon, the super random guy, here again today. Hopefully you're going to enjoy this video a lot. We'll be talking about basically just some of the games that I played and stuff, and just also, and right here, some of the all the gimmicks of the game.
Google Pixel Fold, the only foldable phone engineered by Google. Pre-order Google Pixel Fold and get Pixel Watch.
Hey guys, I'm Garrula64, and let's talk.
So, I might as well start with my experience with Kirby. And to be honest, my first ever game I've played of his series was the 3D platformer game I just talked about, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, it's called. So that was my first ever experience with the series. Because to be honest, I was just a really big Mario fan, and then I ended up just stumbling upon, this series with, all the really cool, characters and just also copy abilities. So basically, Kirby in the Forgotten Land, you go and you have to try to just go and save some Waddle Dees. That's like all you do in the game. And also basically just try to save Planet Popstar, which is Kirby's main home where he lives on. And it was really fun. There was a lot of really cool copy abilities and stuff that I enjoyed. One of them, or two of them, being the ice and fire abilities. Then the next game I stumbled upon was what the heck is it called? Kirby Planet Robobot, where you basically, again, was playing as Kirby, but this time you got to control a giant mech as well and just destroy the enemies and stuff. And you could even just go and just basically, the mech you controlled, you could also use that to absorb different copy abilities and use them on your mech and stuff. So that was pretty cool in my opinion. Ooh. And then the last game, which is basically a remake from one of the games from Wii, was called Kirby's Return to Dreamland. So this was a game that got remade from the Wii to the Switch, which I've played, which had basically just Kirby helping out this little alien guy called Magalore, who ends up becoming evil and just tries to destroy Kirby afterwards for some random reason. But one thing I always thought interesting about Kirby himself is that he's always just trying to basically help out people every chance he can get. He just loves to help out, which I think is a really good quality in my opinion. And then the others just basically tag along because they also want to try to be helpful as well. Like, the other characters that I mentioned, the King Dedede and Bandana Waddle Dee and Meta Knight, they're all pretty cool. Meta Knight has always been my favorite just because of how super cool he looks in my opinion. So now I'll be showing off basically in this video right here, by this guy called Garula64. He's going to be talking about the different gimmicks of all the Kirby games pretty much. So let's check it out right here.
Gimmicks. With Kirby in the Forgotten Land being the first totally 3D entry to the series, I'm not quite sure it needs like a standalone gimmick to market it, because I think the third dimension is a pretty big leap as it is. As I mentioned in the intro, I have not played the game yet, so you don't need to worry about spoilers here, but there will be spoilers for the rest of the Kirby series, just in case you haven't played games over the last 30 years. I don't know if you've been living under a rock. What are you doing? Play Kirby! I'd also like to point out that I'm only going to be talking about mainline games today. There are not going to be things like Epic Yarn or, let's say, Canvas Curse in this video, because those are very clearly spin-offs. They don't tackle the usual platforming style, and obviously those come with gimmicks of their own. I want to talk about all of them at some point, though, because they're all really, really fun, and I have a lot of nostalgia for them. But before we start, it would really mean a lot to me if you could like the video, comment, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff, because it might seem sort of annoying for people to ask, but it really does help us a lot, especially when people don't like certain topics on a channel. This video is going to be like dead on arrival if people don't help me out here. So I really, really appreciate it if you enjoy the video. If you don't enjoy it, let me know down in the comments. I'll take it. I'm a big, strong man. But yeah, this isn't a command, it's a cry for help. Taking it back to 1992 now for the release of Kirby's Dream Land, the Pink Puffball's first adventure. And of course, we all know Kirby today for his amazing ability to suck up enemies and then copy their abilities. But for those who are ignorant or just blissfully unaware, he didn't actually start out with that ability at all. Of course, these days, he inhales like Gordon Ramsay and becomes the greatest chef in the world, or he inhales like the little sleeping guy and just falls asleep. It's a pretty big dichotomy there. But in the original game, Kirby's all about the suck and then the blow. I know that was the lowest hanging fruit you could possibly go for when talking about a Kirby game, but I couldn't help it. That fruit looked so good. Since there's not a whole bunch to talk about in terms of gimmicks here, I guess you could say Kirby's inhaling and then spitting out of the enemies is technically the gimmick of this game, but it's not like something huge and flashy like later on in the series, like, you know, the big sword, but it's still something I guess they used for marketing, and it sets it apart from the other platformers at the time, so that's what we're here to see. But Kirby's sucking up of enemies in this game is very unlike the big sword, because you use this all the time, and it's not just an incredibly situational thing to clear out certain obstacles. I know I will stop talking about the big sword now, I'm sorry, but it's just so big. This video might feel very scatterbrained, but I told you it's not a full review of each title. Now we're moving on to the second ever Kirby adventure, which is Kirby Adventure on the NES, which I'm going to primarily show footage from Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland because I'm super nostalgic for it, and it's a remake of that game. This is where Kirby's main gimmick for the entire series is introduced. We have the copy ability, and this is something that I think about a lot, because if, let's say, Kirby's Adventure had flopped really hard, right? I'm wondering if Sakurai and the team would have been like, yeah, you know, back to the drawing board, I guess, and, like, maybe done away with the copy abilities? Like, I know that was a really good idea, and obviously it did catch on, but it just makes you think, right? Because some games will try new things, they don't catch on at all, like, I don't know, some of the stuff you might see in, like, some Zelda games, like Spirit Tracks or something, right? Like, we've never seen Link on a train again, because now he takes, probably his private jet, because he got so much money. But obviously it works like this. Kirby inhales an enemy, takes the power, and you can use that power for as long as you don't get hit too hard, because if you get hit too hard, that thing is gone. You gotta chase it down, it's gonna be bouncing all the way around the freeway, it's gonna be dangerous. This being Kirby's first ever console title, the game is also a lot longer than its predecessor, and once it was remade as Nightmare in Dreamland at GBA, it got a pretty rad multiplayer mode that I can't show you because GBA emulation multiplayer is really annoying, and it also received a bunch more minigames, and my personal favorite, the Meta Nightmare campaign, where you play the entire game again as Meta Knight, who has now, like, inherited the curse of the protagonist. Because when you fight someone in a campaign, right, they're obviously super strong, final boss mode, but when you play as them, all of a sudden they can get knocked over by a simple gust of wind. How the mighty have fallen. Now, as tempted as I am to talk about Amazing Mirror directly after Nightmare in Dreamland, obviously we have to jump back to Kirby's Dreamland 2, which is the actual next game in the series, in which we keep copy abilities, and Kirby's newest gimmick is that he has friends. Man, I wish I had that gimmick. Introduced in Dreamland 2, we have Rick, Kine, and Koo, the animal friends. We have Rick, the hamster, who is gigantic, and I actually love him. He's my favorite character design in, I think, this game. We have Koo, the owl, who is another very good character. And then we have Kine, the almost completely useless sunfish. And I say that because he is really only useful in water, so I say just leave that fish behind, Kirby. We've got bigger fish to fry. In Dreamland 2, there are a lot less abilities than in Kirby's Adventure, but thankfully, as you use the animal buddies, they actually change Kirby's copy abilities in unique ways, depending on who you're piloting. For example, if you have the umbrella ability with Rick, he puts Kirby up in the air on the umbrella to attack things above them. Koo will do this, like, crazy mock tornado thing with Kirby, and it's probably one of the most busted abilities in the game. And Kine will just do exactly what Kirby usually does and just throws it out in front of him. And I don't know, man, I would ask you to kindly give me back my cool owl friend because you were useless. Hey, you guys want to see a really crazy quality jump?
How can you tell which one's the better deal?
Bring in Dad from Sarasota?
So now we're just going to take a little break from the video because there is something I forgot to mention, another game that I played on the Switch, which was, Kirby Star Allies. That was another one. Where in this one your main thing was you got to basically make your enemies become your friends and just have them tag along with you, and they could help take out other enemies and stuff. So that was another Kirby game I played, which was also pretty fun in my opinion. Now I'm just going to be showing off quickly because this is going to be like a pretty short video, to be honest with you guys. But I'm just going to be showing off the copy abilities that Kirby can obtain. Okay, that one's kind of small, to be honest. Oh. So right here, as you can see, well, some of these are newer ones that came into like the from the Kirby and the Forgotten Land game. So they have like a drill ability. They have a ranger, which lets you use like a little like gun, sleeping ability, cutter ability, the sword ability, fire ability, ice ability. This one, I have no idea what this one is. This one is the air ability or tornado ability, hammer ability, spike ability, bomb ability. And there was a lot of really other cool ones, to be honest with you. Here's some more that I didn't. So they have like a fighting ability. They have a bow and arrow ability, a painting ability, ninja ability, which is another one of my favorites. The umbrella. This is like a beetle ability. This is like a psychic ability right here, another really cool one. This is the whip ability. So there were a lot of pretty cool abilities in the game. So now I'm just going to be showing off a little bit more of this video over here. And then we'll be finishing up with this one, to be honest with you. Oh, no.
Gimmicks out of all the games, I'm pretty sure. In that being, it's not just one game, it's like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games, and then even more if you're playing on the DS remake, which is even better in my opinion. When you boot up the game, you got things like Spring Breeze, Gourmet Race, The Great Cave Offensive, Meta Knight's Revenge. It's definitely a dream, not a nightmare. And each of these game modes actually has their own set of rules and gimmicks of their own. Spring Breeze is a very simple remake of the original Kirby's Dream Land, except now there are copy abilities. Dynablade has a world map, and it has secrets you can discover. Great Cave Offensive is this giant open world level where you hunt for treasure, and it is really, really fun.
And there's also that one as well, which is like a flying ability.
Like a side mode where you race our Lord and Savior King DDD to the goal. And man, like, what else could you want? This stuff is so much fun. This game also has the honor of introducing everyone's favorite homicidal jester, Marx, who gets Kirby to go on this crazy adventure through the cosmos. And the main gimmick of Milky Way Wishes is that you hunt through all the levels to find copy abilities, and then you can switch between them at will, which I think is a really fun idea, which is sort of explored later on in Kirby Squeak Squad, but it's nowhere near as good. And if you didn't think that was enough, this is also the first Kirby to introduce co-op, because whenever Kirby has an ability, he's able to make a helper character by sacrificing that ability so the second player can play, or it'll just be an AI companion that is probably not very useful to have around, but they can't be as bad as the ones from Amazing Mirror. I definitely see why people say that this is the best game in the series, and I almost agree, but honestly, another Kirby game sort of captures my vibes a little bit better, so we'll get to that in a little bit. Again, on the Super Nintendo, we have Kirby's Dream Land 3 this time, and it is boasting one of the most gorgeous art styles this series has to offer. Everything looks like a cool little crayon drawing, and oh my god, it has not aged a day, I tell you. The gimmick here is actually a bunch of reused stuff, because what we have is co-op with Kirby's new friend Gooey, who is one of the best characters in the series. I guarantee it, you can't fight me on this. And we also have the introduction of more animal friends in addition to the 3 we had before. So, in addition to Rick, Kai, and Koo, we now have Nago, Pitch, and Choo Choo. I don't know what Choo Choo is. I think she's supposed to be like an octopus. But it doesn't matter, because yet more copy abilities are available, and all of these animal friends also change up how they work, and some of them are just ridiculous. Like this one with Nago, where he just like he just slams Kirby to the ground and causes earthquakes or something. It's insane. This game is also the first to have some kind of level objectives, where, for instance, in this first stage, you're supposed to get through it without crushing any of these flowers, and the flower at the end will be very happy with you. But as I was trying to not hit the flowers, I literally hit every single one, and the ones I didn't hit, Gooey ran over. So, I think this is a chaotic evil Kirby campaign I'm playing. Whoops. I mean, Kirby's pretty close to being chaotic evil anyway. Like, he just steps on one more flower, and then it's like alignment shifted. Jumping ahead to a new console yet again, we have Kirby 64 The Crystal Shards, which is actually a game I ended up enjoying a lot. I hadn't played it before this. Aside from how slow Kirby runs around, however, I feel like that was a huge problem, and there's actually a mod out there that increases his speed. I would actually recommend playing that if you want to try this game out. The main gimmick of this one is the coolest thing I think they've ever tried, which is copy ability mix-it. Once you have an ability, Kirby can pull it out of his brain and then throw it like a ninja star at another character, And if it's a copyable ability,
When you have auto glass damage, trust SafeLink. In one easy appointment, we can replace your windshield and recalibrate your advanced safety system.
Great, thanks.
Stay safe with SafeLink. Schedule now.
Safe like repair, safe like replace.
Hey, it's me, your skin. I crave being clear without irritation. CeraVe Acne Cleanser.
If it's a copyable ability, you get this fusion of abilities. If you do Cutter and Fire, you get like this gigantic flame sword, which is the best thing that's been in any Kirby game ever. Like, you're an actual menace now. And he can control them, sort of like he's got new mind control powers, which is actually horrifying. Like, what can't this guy do? He can cook, he can clean, he's basically a functioning adult. How do I do that? I'm not saying Alpha Mode is going to be super situational like Ultra abilities, but in the demo so far, like, you can grab a vending machine, right? And all it does is open one area for you. And it's kind of like, okay, thanks, and then I abandon that and go on with my day. Like, I kind of wish I could have just ignored that. Like, it wasn't really super fun or interesting. Like, that could have easily just been an open passage and I could have walked right through. I'm really hoping, since it's the demo, obviously they're still teaching you how things work, hoping that it's going to get more extravagant than that, like it does in Triple Deluxe and Planet Robobot. But I'm a little hesitant on that point only, because the rest of the gameplay seems very fun. I really like the idea of upgrading copy abilities, I like the idea of collecting the Waddle Dees for the Waddle Dee Town, and my god, I really hope it just turns into Friday already so I can play this game, because, oh man, it's going to be so hard to break myself away from that to do actual work on videos. But anyway, thank you guys. I think that's going to be all for my Kirby Gimmicks video. I know this was a very scatterbrained thing, but it was something I just wanted to talk about real quick because I've got Kirby on the brain this week. If you want to see more Kirby content where I go more in depth with each game, please let me know, because I would like to do that, probably throw a couple games into each video. Maybe like the Dreamland Trilogy, the GBA games. I definitely want to do a video on spin-offs, because there's a lot of them. But yeah, again, if you like this video and you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe, click the bell, follow my Twitter, and join the Discord to keep up with more Kirby and other things that aren't Kirby, because I do a lot of things.